it.
Okay, well, can you guys see me?
You see
We can see
wonderfully,
you.
yes.
Okay, well, I can't see you and I'm not sure why. So that being said, we're not going to let that stop us and we're going to go ahead. I can talk without seeing you as long as y'all can see me, and it looks as though everybody out there on Facebook and YouTube can see me as well. So that being said, we are here and I'm so excited that we finally have this opportunity to be with you guys. Everyone, if you don't know Armand and Angelina, you are definitely in for a treat. These are two amazing, awesome, talented, beautiful beings who are just sprinkling their beautiful light everywhere they go. And they're fun people, they're creative, and they have a music ministry. And I met Armand many years ago, which we'll get into in just a moment. But before we do that, I'd just like to welcome you guys and thanks for joining me today.
We are
Yes.
delighted.
Well, I am delighted too, and I'm thrilled you guys are here. And I know you're on a little respite back in Orlando. You all live in Orlando, right?
Yeah, the
Mhm.
Orlando area is a town called Castleberry, but yeah, 30 minutes from the city.
Gotcha. And I know that it's hot as can be down there at this time, I'm sure.
Well,
Yeah, I think
it
it's
is.
94 today.
It was actually
Right?
about 96 in
Wow.
Maine a few weeks ago.
Right.
It was actually cooler in Florida than it was in Maine for 3 days.
I know the weather's like funky. It's crazy. We've had a drought. We finally got some rain the past couple of days, and it's been hot here. So, but generally speaking, I think Florida tends to be hotter. I used to live there, and I don't think I could handle the heat like I used to anymore. But it was fun living there all those years I did, that's for sure. So, for the crowd, as I said a minute ago, everyone tuned in. If you're tuned in live, I would say to ask questions, but I am completely blacked out here. So that being said, we're just going to have a conversation among the three of us. And Armand, many, many years ago, and I was thinking back today, I met you in, I believe it was either 1993 or 1994 when
Wow.
I had, yeah, I think that you were with the Symptoms then. It was then, right?
Yep.
You had just started, you were a little kid. You and I were both, we're the same age. We're in our early 30s. And we had, I had started the Palm Beach Center for Living, and you had contacted us, and you guys became regulars down there, you and your crew.
Yeah, those were the very, very beginnings. I wasn't even full time. I was playing in my rock band, but I was itching to do more with my spirituality and more with my original music. And that's how those seeds got planted. And then in 96, I went full time.
Wow. Well, and full time you did. You've certainly been a busy, busy beaver in all those years. And of course, the blessing sitting at your side here today, Angelina has certainly upped your game quite a bit. Not that you guys weren't awesome, but the two of you together were divinely led and led each other. So, how did you two connect?
Well, my church was Orlando, one of the church Unity churches in Orlando, and so Armand was doing his Sunday morning thing, and I was at church, and the thing is, I was very busy. I had a wedding business at the time and worked at Disney, and I had a wedding on Saturday, and they usually are like a 18-hour day. And so I was really tired, and I didn't always go to church because Sunday was my day to just relax and sleep. So I woke up and the voice said, go to church, go to church. I'm like, I am so tired. I can't go to church. And the voice kept saying, go to church, go to church. Like, now I'll be late. I don't want to go because I don't want to be late. And the voice said, it doesn't matter. Go to church. And I went to church and met Armand that day.
Well, now you can't say spirit doesn't guide us, huh?
Yeah,
True.
it's
So
important
who
to
made,
listen to that voice, huh?
yeah, exactly. Well, who made the first move there?
She did.
I did,
Yeah.
Right,
which
good
is
for
really not
you.
like me at all, but I was just so inspired, and I kind of became a groupie. I'd follow him Anytime he was in the area, I drive like almost 2 hours to go see him perform.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I bet Armand hated that too, didn't he?
Couldn't stand it. Well, she's kind of hard to miss, but she has this thing she says about those 4 months. Remember
Oh
that?
yeah. So I would go see him for 4 months and travel. Then after 4 months, he finally noticed me and it was love at first sight.
Well, and it's been many, many, what year was that? It's been, y'all
That
did
was in
2000.
2000, the
25 years?
end of 2000.
Okay.
The exact date that I sang at her church was August 27th, 2000.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's wonderful. And the music has been made ever since then. So
Yes.
you guys have for those people who haven't heard you all sing before, what's your website? You do have some or are you on YouTube? How could people watch some of your
Yeah, that
acts?
we're on all over YouTube, but the website is pretty simple. It's just armandandangelina.com.
Okay. Well, what I'll do is I'll definitely, for as I always do, I put in the post when I put it on YouTube, and I'll make sure to have all your links so then people can go and watch you guys, because you're so much fun and you're unique. I've never seen anyone like you all. And
Oh,
that's a good thing. And Armand, you are definitely a showman, and he comes out. Do you still do the Mr. Rogers gig?
yep.
Right.
I do in the 10 services that we do.
Mhm.
I do Mr. Rogers in about 3 of them. Yep, he's still a part of he used to be a part of every time, and then I realized that time to shift it up a little bit. So now he's a part of maybe every third time.
Okay, cool. And then, but a lot of what you all do is very heart-centered. It's fun, it's funny, and it's just great. And Angelina, you bring a little bit of class to the performance here. You you definitely balance Armand. I mean, he's got the big personality and the humor, and you bring in the beauty and the grace, and together you guys are a perfect blend. And your music, your voice, you're classically trained, so you often, or not, if not often, you always are now bringing in a few of those songs, right? That are,
Yes.
uh, what are some of the ones? Ave Maria, I remember that. What else do you sing?
Amazing Grace.
Mhm.
I have 3 different Ave Marias that I do because I just love the word. So I do 3 different Ave Marias. O Sole Mio, which talks about the beauty of the sun and nature,
Mm.
is one of the songs.
So you definitely were doing your classical music before you got into this. And where were you trained? I know, what is your background in music?
Well, I studied when I was in high school, I was at the prep department of the Cincinnati Conservatory of Music. I think I was like 13 when I started there. And then I went to college at Indiana University and studied music there.
Oh, wow. So did you grow up in that part of the country, or?
Yeah, I grew up in Cincinnati.
Oh, okay. Well, Ellen's a Dayton girl, so
Oh,
you're not too far apart. And
yeah.
Do you know that there's a town that's actually called Engagement, Ohio?
well, isn't there Deliverance, Ohio too? They've got all
Yeah,
kinds.
well, people don't know how to get to Engagement. It's in between Dayton and Marion. There's no engagement. I made that up. So
There is a Dayton and a Marion, though.
So
you knew that was
everybody listening, if you don't have an idea of who Armand is, you're starting to get a taste, and of Angelina, and yet they're just perfectly compatible. I think truly you are. You definitely balance each other out. And I've seen you guys, I don't know how many times we've hosted you at the Palm Beach Center for Living and up here at the Namaste Center. And you're on a tour. You told me now next month you're going to Michigan. So how many gigs do you have up there?
2, 3, 4, about 12, I guess, 12 gigs while we're up there, maybe 15 for the
Wow.
month. We like to go away for a month and then come home and then work out of home for a month. And
Mhm.
we don't work as hard when we're in Florida because we've already been to all the churches so much. So it's a chance to kind of, regroup. And then we go out for a month again.
Well, that's smart. Yeah, sort of give you time to rest and get put all together and go back out again. And you drive all over the country, right? I mean, what's the furthest you all have been away
A
from Florida?
lot of the country, there's a bunch of stuff up in the Northwest that we've not been to, but we had a gig in Canada one time and for a week, and they said we will fly you out of Orlando. I said, can we drive? And she said, sure, I'll just give you the airfare that you would have had to pay and use it. And we drove. We drove to Banff, Canada, and did a gig at the Fairmont Inn
Oh
on
my
Lake Louise.
God.
So that was fantastic. And then we just came back from Maine and New England, and then Arizona. We do a lot of stuff out in Arizona, and so Midwest, Arizona, and Southeast. I think we did like 42 of the states.
Wow. So, well, you got 8 more to go.
Yep.
We know how to get in our van and pack it up and go. But
That's
when
gonna
we
be a
have
tough
to,
drive to Hawaii, though.
And
we
we've
have done
we've
that.
had 4 gigs in
but-
Hawaii over the years and flew, and we had a couple of gigs in England and we flew, and Greece,
Right.
and yeah, that's
Wow.
about it.
Yeah, see, you're in demand all over the world.
More so before 2012. A lot of the stuff we did, a lot of the Lightworkers conferences and things like that started to fade a bit in 2012 after the economic challenges. I don't want to blame anything for it, but it was coincidentally around the time that people's money started going away.
Strange how that works
Yeah.
together, isn't
Which
it?
is just a coincidence, but yeah.
That's right. Well, and then of course, I know that well, 8 years after that, COVID, and that definitely had to have an impact on your schedule. Obviously, you weren't able to go anywhere. You were
Absolutely.
Right. We feel like churches are just getting back to the normal.
Yeah.
So
I believe that. Yeah, well, it's taken a while. And also I think, well, as I've shared this to other groups, but before, and I told y'all earlier, I retired in 2018 and not thinking I was going to do too much more. I knew my work wasn't over, but I got a really strong tap on the shoulder to do a virtual ministry. So now I do these heart-to-heart Sunday Soulful Conversations, book studies, Course in Miracles, all sorts of things, prayer ministry. And I started that in about 2018. And interestingly enough, when COVID came, I was already there doing this. So I think I got a little jump start, but I will say a lot of people are comfortable doing exactly this. It's like, oh, I can just see Armand and Angelina and Charlotte like this. But I will say, yes, but with you guys, and we mentioned this earlier, there's no way that being in your all's presence at a show could ever be expressed on social media or on video even. I mean, you can get a taste of it, but your all's energy is so huge and the production is so wonderful that it really is great that the churches are starting to come back around and you all are able to get back out there. So
Thank you.
And
you sound like you were really more redirected. Like, when sometimes you hear the word retired, you think, okay, well, that's when people just get to do what they want all the time and don't have to work. But you got to be retired and redirected in the same That's great.
well, thank you for that. That's true. And Ellen, if you ask Ellen if I'm retired, she would say she's never worked more in her life. So I don't know. But, I think you all can relate. We love what we do. It doesn't even seem like work. I know you all work very hard. I know what it's like to be on the road for sure, because, before I got into the spiritual work, I was a golf professional, as you know, and I really playing tournaments on a regular basis. That's tough work, man. You got to load up the car. You got to make the arrangements. You stay at people's homes, which is always a fabulous thing. But sometimes you just want to come home and be alone instead of the obligatory, conversation with whoever. And so I think it's definitely not easy. And you guys carry with you more than some golf clubs. You've got all your equipment and your CDs and everything else. I mean, you go with a full van of goodies there.
It is, you
True.
know, you brought something up about having a time by yourself. Angelina realized a few years ago that one day a week she wants to check into a hotel and then not leave the hotel till the next day. No people, no anything.
Right, because I'm an introvert, Armand's an extrovert, and so it's important for me to recharge by being by myself. And I didn't really know what that was until a couple years ago, where I feel I love being with people, I love what we do, but if I spend too much time in that realm, I feel kind of like crashing. And so all I need is like every 7 to 10 days, get a hotel room, a nothing day, and then I'm good to go for again. But it has helped me, realizing that it helped me so much.
That's fabulous. Oh my gosh, good for you.
So
And yeah,
Armand, tell everyone what your nothing day will
So
be.
to me, work
yeah,
is
please tell
the
us.
3 or 4 days a week. And then the other day, the nothing days are when I go to like a theme park or a zoo or an aquarium or go hang out with some friends. And she's like, no, that's not a nothing day.
It's not
And I
enough.
remember one time she got very frustrated with me because we had a day, I got a whole day at the hotel, but we're going to go to this zoo. And she goes, even God rested one day a week, Armand. One day a week, rest. Don't you know what that is? Rest. And it's actually good for me because my theory, and I don't know if it's backed by anything, but that each extrovert has a submissive introvert, and each introvert has a submissive extrovert. And I never listened to my submissive introvert. I only listened to the other one, and I only honored them. And so she's forced me to honor that part of me that also needs downtime.
Good for you, Angelina. I know that he's high octane, that's for sure. And I can appreciate that you recognize that, and that really taking a day just to chill is a beautiful gift to yourself. Plus, just makes you better for showing up. But Armand, I mean,
Yes.
that's not you, and so that's probably wouldn't hurt you though.
It's really helped. Those 1 days a week end up working for me too, but they're more like a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, I'll bet. I'll bet. Well, so you talk about other things that you do. You all make me laugh. You're my age, basically, give or take. Armand, we're the same birth year. Angelina's behind us a year or two. But you still go to the Disney parks. Do you still have annual tickets to that?
We get that every few years. We typically have a theme park pass to Disney, then the next year Busch Gardens, then the next year Disney, then the next year SeaWorld, then the next year Disney, then the next year Universal. So we try to have one at all times. So if we do want to go have some fun, it's available right there.
Right.
Wow. Well, why not? You live down there, you love it, and it's fun. And hey, you can't beat the happiest place on earth, right?
You can. I mean, our Florida resident passes Monday through Friday are like about $900, and that's $450 each, and we get to go 15 or 20 times. So
Wow, that's
Right.
amazing. Do you like it as much, Angelina?
I do. I do. The great thing about a pass is you don't have to go all day. Be like 2 or 3 in the afternoon and hey, do you want to go to Epcot? Yeah, let's go to Epcot. And then you just stay, till maybe 7, 8 p.m. and go home. So you don't feel obligated that we have to be there, all day. We
Right.
don't. So it's kind of nice.
What's your all's favorite ride?
Well, I don't really like the rides because I'm not a coaster person. I like the shows, but Armand,
so I like all the rides. I like the new Tron that's at Magic Kingdom. Guardians of the Galaxy took over the Ellen DeGeneres place she was there and so
Really nice,
fabulous
yeah.
in Epcot. I like the thrill rides. But we like to do the things that we both kind of like, which are like the Frozen sing along Frozen show at MGM, or now it's called Hollywood Studios. We do a lot of that stuff. So she just holds the bags while the crazy people go ride the ride. They
Right.
come and then we come back. So
I
we
do soaring, but see, I have a fear of heights is most of my thing. So all I do is if it gets a little too much for me, I close my eyes and then I'm just sitting on a seat. So
have you done soaring?
No, I have not.
So soaring basically in a nutshell is a bunch of people come in, they all sit in their thing, and it's sort of a fake hang glider. And
Oh,
then the lights go out, it goes up 40 feet, and then a giant big IMAX screen comes on and it moves with the screen. So it looks like you're flying over the water. It takes you all over the world. And it's
very
it's
cool.
it's not exactly real because you're not really there, but it feels real. And you're 40 feet up in the air, so she doesn't look down. And if you close your eyes, you're just sitting in a chair.
right.
Well, there you go. Well, so she gets part of it anyway.
That's right.
But that reminds me, didn't mean to go off on this Disney tangent, but last time I was there was years ago, 20 years ago, probably. We were at Epcot. Well, actually, my sister and her husband brought their two girls. They have had a third since then, and she's 18. So I know it was before that. But we did all the parks, and we went to Epcot, and it was pouring the rain. And the one niece, Grace, was 7, 8 years old, and she's just a firecracker like you, Armand. I mean, she wanted to just do it all. And the rain didn't affect her. Hannah, in other words, is like, I just want to go back to the hotel and take a shower and go to bed. And so their personalities were a little different, but the Mission to Mars ride, is that still at Epcot?
Oh, I
Yes, yes, it is. It is.
That's that that was the closest I've come to death in my mind.
Yeah.
I just got on that thing, and for some reason, and then it says, whatever you do, don't close your eyes. When Angelina, and boy, oh boy, I couldn't get off that ride fast enough. I thought I was a goner. But
Yeah.
those rides it was an amazing ride, though, I have to say.
Yeah. Since then, because of what happened to you,
Yeah.
they now have a green side and an orange side. The
Mm.
orange side are for the people that can handle the spinning because you're in a giant spinner, but it
Mhm.
feels like you're going through space, but you're really in a spinner with a screen.
Right.
And then they have the green side for those who don't want all of those G forces. And so
Right.
you still get to pretend like you're going up in a rocket, but without the spinning. And so
Oh,
you were probably when they saw you come out of that, they used that picture to talk to the engineers about fixing it.
I'm sure that I was responsible for that. I can only imagine how I looked. So anyway, well, so fast forwarding, you two, I will say you two, but I know this is more Armand than you, Angelina, I think. Uh, Karaoke, as if you don't entertain enough, you love to do karaoke, huh?
Yep, there's
He
been
does.
about 2.5 years since I found it. We went on a Disney cruise to celebrate our 21st year anniversary in
Oh,
January of 2022. I found it on the boat and I realized that I get to do all my old rock and roll like I did with the Symptoms way back in the 80s and 90s, all the stuff that I don't get to do in churches. And we try to go once a week. And she's the videotaper. And the idea of getting up on a stage in a strange place, doing songs she doesn't know well, is not fun to her. So she doesn't like to do it.
yeah.
I
Well,
love to go and support everyone that's singing. It's kind of like our little karaoke family. Everyone knows everyone and everything. So
where do
they
y'all
ask me
go?
every time, "Are you going to sing tonight?" And I'm like, "No, not tonight."
You're going to surprise them one day, though.
Well,
Yes.
who knows?
Well, so where do y'all go? Like a sports bar or something?
It's a bowling alley that has a little bar in the back. So
Okay.
kind of like a sports bar, but yeah, it's they have a bar at the bowling alley and they have live music sometimes and they have trivia sometimes and Monday and Friday nights they have karaoke.
Well, what more could you ask for? Gee whiz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bowling. I bet they have beer too, huh? So
Oh yeah, they got all the liquors.
there you go. So what was I going to say? I don't know if you remember from the Palm Beach Center for Living, Dave Compton. He was he was kind of a big guy. He had dark hair, wore glasses. He was a great singer. He too was classically trained and also played the keyboard. And he was married to Neshama. But anyway, David loved karaoke. He's passed away a few years ago. Great guy. And he loved karaoke. And we always used to have parties at the Palm Beach Center for Living, and he'd bring all the equipment. And we every time would sing I would sing Coal Miner's Daughter, and because I'm from West Virginia. And then Dave and I would sing Love Shack every time. And it was so much fun.
Oh,
I did like
yeah.
karaoke. I don't think I'd want to go with unfamiliar people, but it was fun for people I knew.
Yeah, it's,
Mm.
people, and myself included, thought it was some kind of a talent show. And I thought, well, I'm a professional singer. Let the people that don't get to sing, but it's an expression show. You get to express whether you could sing or not. It doesn't matter. If you like doing it, it's kind of like a church. It's like everybody accepts you where you are. You get to have your own path.
Mhm.
And as my friend Suze Ogden, do you know Suze?
Gosh, I know that name.
A very well-known traveling New Thought singer. She lives in Oklahoma, but she used to be in California. And
Mhm.
Sue says, you know what the difference between a bar and a church is? They serve different spirits.
There you go. I like that. Good one. Yeah. So, I want to move on. We could talk about all of our hobbies from here to eternity. I will say though, that I'm impressed by your all's beach area out. You see, you all post on Facebook. So I know everything. Well, so is everybody that follows you. You all have some cool things going on, but besides that, let's move on to, you do all this, these wonderful productions. You go to churches every week. I know that I'm not going to say political yet, spiritual interests are very much into the unity new thought, but what inspires you both the most? Where do you get your inspiration from? What's your spiritual practice?
Well, we love every morning we go outside on our beach that's in our backyard, and we do a gratitude list.
Mm,
And then we do like a 30-minute meditation.
wonderful.
And we do that even on the road. We'll be in a hotel and we'll find a place where there's, we've done it in a parking lot, sitting on a curb that has a tree kind of shading us. So it's really important. I feel like for some reason I need it now. I think just being older, I feel a little more anxious and stressed than I used to. And so I think we started doing this, like really committed to it in January, and it really has changed our minds, our hearts, everything.
That's beautiful. Well, that is one of the most, if you said one prayer, we've all heard this, the most powerful prayer we could ever say is thank you. And the gratitude lists are certainly a powerful thing, because sometimes I think we forget how blessed we really are, and if you begin, I just read something today, if we really just focused on all the things we had to be grateful for, it would be like, well, I'm not really missing much. What the heck am I thinking? I'm blessed. I'm so
Yeah.
grateful. That's a beautiful practice.
Even
Go
the
ahead.
the news is designed to not talk about grateful. Like the news doesn't come on and say, by the way, 4 million houses in your area were not broken into last night. They just don't. And to focus on things like that, like, wow, our house is safe and we're safe and we're feeling good, all that. It's so healthy. And I like Angelina, it used to be just I didn't have to think about it. I was just living a gratitude prayer. But as we got older, I have to put the effort in now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, you've got a beautiful person to do it with and a beautiful beach to go to every morning and to experience that. And Armand, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you've remember her, but Angelina, but Dr. Barbara Henshaw, who was a
Oh,
co-founder.
yes.
Yeah,
Mm.
you remember her.
Yep.
Well, I was in her ministerial class with Ellen and I and a group of friends back in 1994. And anyway, what she told us to do from day one was to make it's similar to a gratitude list, but it was actually things that we love about ourselves. And that's another positive thing to do. You know, we're
Yes.
sometimes self-critical. And if you make a list, just one thing a day, she said, just put one thing a day about yourself, you know, that you like or you love. And I would recommend to anyone out there listening that might not be a bad practice to add one thing a day. So
We're gonna do that.
We're gonna
That's
definitely add that
beautiful.
because anything we can do that just adds another level of connection.
Self-love.
Self-love is the new frontier, I believe, because loving others and loving God is one thing. Loving planet Earth is another thing. Loving yourself, we're the last on the list.
sadly, but true, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, you know, and also I know one thing you were on board with and probably an instigator of a couple of years ago, a few years back, was the Purple Revolution. And, you know, now more than ever, with all the division and the upset and the anger, politically, I don't, this is not a political commentary by any means, because I honor everyone's place in this mix, but it's, where do you all see this being resolved and finding a peaceful path? Do you have any thoughts on what's happening in the world today?
You
You?
go ahead.
So I've done a lot of stuff in that. I did have a person tell me that the word revolution they didn't really like, and they said, "What about purple evolution?" So I ended up changing it to that just to
Yeah.
make it simpler, and no reason to make things look like we're going to be revolting. But I really do believe that we're close to rock bottom as far as division is concerned. And I know that this country has a history of that. We saw Hamilton, so we know that they were shooting each other, but they're shooting each other now, as in just the other day. And so I'd like to believe, and it feels like it's going to happen, is that we do it foolishly long enough that people realize that we're all on the same team. We're different players on the same team. We're different political parties on the same team. But the simple metaphor of a bald eagle needs a left wing and a right wing and everything in the middle, and two left wings don't fly good and two right wings don't. We just have to learn how to be kinder. And I'd like to believe that we're going to start going the other direction because we started noticing it about 2012, I think, during the Obama-Romney election, that people were starting to be less Americans and more Republicans and Democrats. That's when we started noticing it. Then 2016, it got more. Then 2020, it got more. And now it's at least as much, maybe more. So I feel like it's time to go the other direction. There are tons of organizations out promoting it. Braver Angels is my favorite. Right Left Inc. is another one. There's just a lot of
where they have dinners?
Oh, oh shoot. I can't think of it, but it's
It's
something.
a great concept, what they do. You can explain it probably better than I.
Oh, Make America Dinner
Oh,
Again,
yeah.
where the people get together and they pick 4 people on the left side, 4 people on the right side that agree to meet for dinner, and they promote dialogue, civil, respectful dialogue about where do you see the answers in this. And when they do that, they feel like each side starts to realize they had judged the other side wrongly and that we all want basically the same thing, but have different ideas on how to get it. Yeah, Make America Dinner Again. Thank you.
I like that. Make America, and you know, there a good conversation, open-hearted goes a long way for sure. What are your thoughts, Angelina? Anything that you can see could help us to heal this?
I don't know. I just think maybe it's a tough one because it's really a lot that's not so happy and joyous, but maybe as things go more in darkness, the light can be shine brighter. And so maybe we're just kind of in that darkness And on the other side of that, we're going to get all that beautiful joy, love, and light.
I hold that vision as
Mhm.
well. And I do believe that good will come out of this. And, it's, although we don't have to wait to hit that rock bottom to get off the elevator, right? It's,
Right.
looks like might be that way this time. But that being said, I think also, and I'd be interested in your all's thoughts about this, as well. And without, I'd say this without criticism, but more curiosity, and I'm sure I'm even guilty of it myself. But you guys are out there in the new thought movement and in the crowds, and people have their thoughts and opinions, and I certainly honor everybody's right to worship the religion they choose or not, and be a political affiliate or not, and whatever. But be for that which we're in, and we don't have to bash the other side. But I have found that a lot of my spiritual friends, who I would say would be on a conscious spiritual path, have been really very angry and condemning of one side or the other, to the point I'm like, have you not paid a bit of attention to? And look, I get caught up but I catch myself. I will give myself credit. I'm better now than I was. But I think that, if we understand the laws of the universe, and our thoughts are things, and thoughts and words carry vibration, that every time I spew out hate and anger and condemnation, I'm feeding that which I don't want. And I sadly say that a lot of churches that I have friends involved in are very much involved in spewing that out. And I don't want to judge it, but it's been a little sad for me to see that. Okay, I always considered the New Thought movement, we are those bringers of the light. We're in this purple evolution, and we're in the love evolution. And I think maybe some are missing the mark on that. And I don't say that with judgment by any means, but rather curiosity of your feedback, if you choose to have any.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, we've both seen that. It's very surprising.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, when I've really studied it, I realized that it's one of the most challenging things to be inclusive in is the political stuff, because the laws that one side makes affects the other side in a way they don't like. The laws that the other side makes affects the side. And so it's like skin color and religion and diet and all of that is a little more live and let live. And yet with politics, people realize that I can be very, very affected by how the other side practices laws in Congress. And so I think it's the toughest. I've got a song that I wrote years ago called We Are All Different Shades of Humanity. I may have had that back when we were singing with you. I believe so. And and it talks about accepting people for who they are, colors, um, sizes, sexual orientations. And then I added a thing about politics. You know, she goes left and he goes right. It's a perfect situation for a Thanksgiving fight, and those are, it's kind of like the new frontier of, can you really take this inclusivity, this we are all one, to the mat? And if you want to take it to the mat, you got to take it with somebody a different color than you. Are they blue? Are they red? And it's yeah, I'm sure I've done it too, because I lean a certain way, and so it's not that I think that everybody should lean that way, but I'm going to see it through that lens.
Yeah.
And when I see other people doing it through a different lens, I don't understand it. But it's got to be respected, because I always tell people, if you were parents and you had 4 kids and all 4 of them were a different politics, let's just say progressive, liberal, conservative, and MAGA, and one was each. You got to learn to make that family work. You got to get that family to work. Each of them need to be heard. and maybe they have to vote against each other sometimes, and three will win. But that doesn't mean the one that didn't win doesn't deserve to be heard. Anyway, that's my thought.
Beautiful thought. Yeah, thank you. And what about you, Angelina? Anything
Well,
like
I
this?
think people are just more boisterous and louder about what their views and opinions are. And so I tend to try to, if it's something I'm not in agreement with, I usually don't say anything because I don't want to get into a heated discussion. I know one time we were with some friends and they were talking about, it was right after the abortion.
The Roe versus Wade overturned.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had to leave the room because it was so upsetting to hear how those that were happy about that didn't really see the human side of it. And so I don't know. I feel like it was better for me to leave the room than to be in that conversation. And it seemed like maybe it didn't get quite as heated once I left because they felt bad, maybe. I don't know. It was just, I don't know. I'm just thinking if we just maybe listened and not reacted, there would then, and I don't know. I know there's a question that's good to ask, like, why are you feeling that, or what's making you feel that? So it's more of a personal thing than just a big political thing, you know.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Because
if
then
somebody says something that you don't agree with, instead of attacking them, you can say, so why do you believe that? And then you get personal with them. And all of a sudden you're humans. You're not red and blue. You're humans.
Right.
That's what I think
that's
you
what
were.
I was, yeah.
When I also like what you said, Angelina, about the, you just step back. Sometimes that is the holiest thing to do, is not engage. And, as the Course of Miracles says, it takes two to keep the dance going, right? And so sometimes stepping back is the holier thing to do and the more loving thing to do. But I have a vision that, I'm just at the point where there's a line in the Course of Miracles that says, I do not know what anything, including this, is for. Therefore, I'm not going to use my programming, my judgment, whatever, to guide me. And so I just am surrender. I know Spirit's plan is perfect and divine, and I just want to be out of the way so that can come through us. But as long as we're mucking up the waves, it makes it a little hard for that to happen. So, but it's hard to surrender to the will of Spirit, because we still want to be right and we want to see it our way, and we're afraid. I think fear is a big part of it. But so I think although it's turbulent and it's kind of not fun at certain times, I also find I'm excited about the possibilities that lie ahead for us.
I love that. The possibilities that lie ahead. Yes. Amen. That's a very beautiful pre-paving, as Abraham would say, pre-paving the road for what we want. Great possibilities. The opposite of paranoid, pronoid. The universe is conspiring on my behalf.
Amen to that. Indeed. I love that too. I love Abraham. Absolutely. Abraham's a gem. So anyway, well, listen, we have had a wonderful time here chatting. I'm sorry we got off to a little slow start with the technology, but we made it. And so I'd like to give you an opportunity to anything you'd like to bring into the conversation before we wind down. Anything we forgot, tell people where they can find you, and all that good stuff.
I think you pretty much covered it. We travel 6 months of the year. The other 6 months we're in Florida. We're coming to a New Thought church near you. We mostly play the Centers for Spiritual Living and Unity churches. Again, our website is armandandangelina.com. It's got a tour schedule on there, usually 3 months of the tours, and some of our products and CDs. A lot of people may not know what they are, but they're these discs and they go in a player. CDs are becoming they're going the way of the cassette lately. But yeah, I have a book that I wrote called I Now Pronounce You Not Guilty, which is all about dealing with shame and guilt that does no good for us. And yeah, so we're hopefully we'll come up. We need to make a North Carolina trip. We need to get back up to the North Carolina Unity and Centers for Spiritual Living up there. We haven't been up there much since COVID, and it's time to get back up there and come play with you and Ellen.
Absolutely. Well, you've always got a place to stay with us. We'd love to have you, and look forward to seeing you. And also, I had one other thing I was going to mention, and it just slipped my mind. Oh, goody. Okay, I guess it wasn't meant to be said. So, but in the meantime, just keep on shining your lights, and thank you so much again. Y'all are awesome, beautiful beings, and doing such a great job out there with all you do. And stick to that day off every week. I think that's a great idea. And everybody, thank you all for tuning in and joining us, and pass this along, share it with your friends. And oh, I know what I wanted to say. The ADL conference, Alliance of Divine Love Conference, you all are going to be the entertainment,
Right.
and then some. That's in September, allianceofdivinelove.org. Find out more information on that. Open to everybody. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Armand and Angelina, and be seeing you around the bend. Take care.
Right. Thank you
Bye for
so
now.
much.
Namaste.
Love
Thank you. Peace and love to you. Bye-bye.
Bye.